2 seconds. Hello, everybody. Finally, we're live. Good to see you all. Let me see who is there. Patricia, Triples, good to see you. Valerie, Melanie, good to see you. And Chef Matt, Brandy, Gail, everybody is there. Good to see you all. I'm
Thanks for
so
coming,
happy.
peeps.
Yeah. And so today we are going to have a good topic. Hey, Brooklyn, good to see you too. And Leo, there they are. So I just wanted to say like a little tiny household thing is that as you know, I have my GoFundMe. It's at the top. uh, I prefer that over the super chat because this you know how YouTube always takes away 40%. Hey, G Morty, good to see you too. So today we're gonna talk about an essential topic, which is PTSD. Also, let me just say ahead, there might be some swearing words, not that we want that, but sometimes it happens when it gets passionate. And besides that, also this is not a topic for children. So if you are here watching with your children, this is not the moment where you, I mean, I guess want to share with your kids. And your officially princess elect. Good to see you, Mama. And so today we're gonna talk about PTSD, and PTSD is a very, very important topic because, well, there's a lot of taboo around it, and obviously we had Michael already last week. Well, actually this week, and we are obviously he's been through that, but I've been through that myself as well. And if there's any psychologist or psychiatrist watching, then uh, I'm sorry, but well, they're not all bad, but we don't have like uh we're not too happy with them. But anyway, that will become more clear. So um I decided to actually share my own traumas in order for people to know uh, well, what I know about PTSD. I know a lot about it actually, and about a lot of different types of PTSD that are around there. So I'm not really like happy to start out telling everything that I've been through, but I am able to do that. Like I'm citing your grocery shopping list. Why? Because I'm able to detach from that, as in my person and the events that happened. And well, that's because I learned it. And however, that doesn't mean that I haven't worked on them, because I did. Every single dark corner of what I'm going to mention now, I've worked through that. And it's yeah, it's quite a lot. But and also in the, probably when I'm going to tell all that like in a short, quick way, it may seem a lot in the way that I'm going to explain it. So, starting out with when I was, well, my first 7 years, I don't remember them. The reason is probably because, well, not probably, is because of sexual abuse as a child. Then that followed with a lot of bullying at school, which then followed up with, as a teenager, with incredibly rage moments where I was uh, extremely aggressive, to the point that, yeah, I could just smash everything around that came close and that would trigger me. I then almost um, killed somebody in such a rage by driving a car in a concrete wall with full speed. That was when I was 20. I then was also beaten up to pulp a few times, um, with a wrong boyfriend. And then I also had extreme anxiety, like extreme, which I was then also raped in that period. Um, and when I was 25, I started out having severe panic attacks, and that developed in a phobia. So I went through a heavy depression, like one of those where you can't see the light anymore at the end of the tunnel. And on top of that, I also had addictions, medicine addiction and drug addiction. I went to rehab for that. I spent also 9 months in a psychiatric clinic, which was not a fun place to be, um, which didn't also help me, not one little bit. Um, I was almost stabbed to death as well within my life, not necessarily all in that order. Um, and I also experienced, well, a lot of other things that were consequences of all the things that happened at the time. Um, I then went through this mill of medical fields where you get psychiatrists and psychologists that didn't seem to help me at all. And on top of that, I went through all these things, and yeah, that was not fun. Um, it was really heavy. I was also alone most of the time during those heavy periods. I spent 6 months also in rehab, which was in 2012, and and from that moment on, I actually started healing myself without anything that had to do with the regular medical field. And I figured out slowly how I got through everything. On top of that, the closest I came to a war is probably when in 2000 there was a major firework disaster in Enschede where I lived, which is till today known as the biggest firework disaster ever known. And there was a blast of equivalent to 4 to 5,000 kilogram TNT, where I was swooped in the air. But that wasn't so much the worst of it because I didn't get injured because I was behind a building. Only I worked in a hotel, that building, and but I did look onto the first, um, the emergency room where everybody came in, and to give a picture of what a blast like that is, it decimated 400 houses with the ground and damaged 1,500 other buildings, uh, and the blast was felt in a radius of 19 miles around. So you can imagine the damage that was there, and the people that came into the hospital with cars and everything, where limbs were literally hanging off. And I saw that too. On top of that, I've seen my fair share of accidents. For some reason, I'm always there when crap happens, and terrible accidents, like bloody. And somehow I always manage to be calm in those situations. And another one is where the brother of my friend shot himself in the head. And by the time we got there, the body was taken away, but I cleaned the rest of whatever was left. Now, those things are not pleasant, but yeah, got through all that. This all happened. And in the past 10 years, I finally started making progress in getting better, and I did that all by myself. And I learned to analyze everything that I've been through, and to how to navigate through that and how to get better. And eventually I've managed, and now that I look back at it, I still do that. I still analyze everything, and I now found systems in how these things work and how you can heal and how I can heal others as well. And well, that's a bit about what I've been through. And then obviously there was the 25 years of agoraphobia where I lived between four walls. I was not happy with people. I didn't like people at all. So I avoided them like the plague. And this is also why I did it all alone. And since 1st of January this year, I started my channel, as you all know. And this is how I finally got in touch with people, only to discover that people actually are quite nice and good. And but yeah, that took over the span of 51 years. I've been through that, so it's not like that happened all in a short span of time, but it did. Um, I've been through that over that whole span, and so now I'm here and healed, and it is possible to heal, and I do believe everybody is able to heal. Also, I have to say there are many different forms of PTSD. Uh, some of them is obviously sexual abuse, stuff like that. But the worst form of PTSD I've probably have seen up close is victims of satanic abuse, and also a person that was rescued from this, who spent years in cages being a breeding machine. Um, and so I've seen that firsthand, and those people are very hard to cure, especially when they have multiple personalities. The second worst PTSD I've seen, also up close, is with my ex, is the PTSD that comes with veterans, which involves a lot of rage and different kinds of ways how they deal with that. And we did help each other, and at a certain point there was a time that we needed to separate, because we needed to move on with our own healing by ourselves. He's now my best friend, and he's doing very well now. um, and so also there I've seen firsthand that it is possible to heal from that. It's not easy, but it all depends what path you take. And I know Michael knows all about that, right? And so, if we're going to be aiming specifically, because that first group, satanic, etc., I'm not even going to touch that. It's very complex. However, when it comes to veterans, I do know a lot about how what they encounter, and what they feel and how they feel. And obviously from Michael I learned even a bit more on how far it can get within this mill of what can we call it, medical field, and how people are treated in there, uh, where you really don't get the help that you need. So can you tell a bit about your own path regarding your PTSD?
Well, I mean, well, for me, I've actually been dealing with PTSD long before the military, but the military is obviously where it became extremely intense. I mean, I've had a near-death experience when I was 18 years old, and when that probably was the first time that I've ever experienced PTSD, because I didn't know what I was dealing with when I was awake after that. I was in a car accident and I hit a telephone pole in a Ford Bronco doing 75 miles an hour. And when they found me, the engine was on top of my chest and legs, like literally on top of me. It went through the vehicle completely. That's how hard I hit. It was like just dead on. So I was dead for 6.5 minutes before I was finally revived. The only reason I probably survived that accident is because I crashed right in front of a fire department.
Holy.
So Yeah, and it was the exact path I would have taken to my father's house, who died the year before that, on the exact day that I got in that car, and the exact day that I was headed towards his house under whatever I was on from going out that night, being the year anniversary of my father's death. So from that point on, I had, things that were extremely hard for me, just dealing with my father's death first off, and then doing all the stupid things I did, which led to that happening. And, for me during that time, it was felt like I no longer had a purpose in life. Like I thought that my best friend died. I thought my whole world was going to end. He wasn't there for me. All these types of things and emotions and stuff. And everybody can get PTSD from losing a loved one. I mean, my father was my best friend in the
Wow.
world, greatest man I ever met. Um, he's the reason my faith is so strong and why serving my country mattered to me, because my father fought in Korea and stuff. So it was like, I don't know. It wasn't that I wanted to do exactly what he did. It's just it happened that way. Like he actually didn't want me in the military, which is funny,
Yeah,
because my
well,
my dad knew some things too, and things that happened to him, and all the chemicals they had to put in their bodies before they ship them overseas, and all these random things. And
mm,
my father died at 53 years old. Like
wow.
he died from heart disease and lung cancer. Like, and and they told him he would only live for 6 months, and he lived for 3.5 more years. Like, so it's like, when it comes to doctors, I'm like, go fuck. I'm like done. Like at this point, it's like,
Yeah,
why don't we go back to old apothecaries and stuff like that? Like, come on, it's insane
yeah.
the things that they do. But me not having that purpose is what got me to the military, because I realized if I kept going down the path that I was going, I'd be dead, plain and simple. Like I was on the wrong path.
So
Like
your military training did help you get over that first
that
PTSD.
first batch of PTSD, yeah, I mean, it still stays with me. Obviously, I'll never forget those things,
Well,
and
of
that's okay.
course.
And that's okay. And you're supposed to remember those things. They make you who
Yeah,
you are. But it's like that purpose that the military gave me, the brotherhood, the camaraderie. I literally could hand my friend next to me my heart, and I know he would hold on to it and protect it with his life.
yes.
So when you have that type of stability in your life, like even if you're in a war, it doesn't really matter. It's like
Yeah,
while you're there, it's not about who's in front of you. It's not about who's behind you. It's about who's right fucking next to you. You know what I mean? It's that guy. He's got your back 100%. I don't care what color, race, creed, religion you are. It doesn't matter. When
yeah.
you're in uniform, that's all that matters. If you're a Democrat, I don't give a shit. As long as you got my back on that battlefield and I can trust you with my life, do what you got to do, bro. It's not my decision. Like that's what you need to do with your life. You can do it, but I'll just stay Republican anyway.
On the one hand, I do envy that because obviously I didn't have that, but me because I was by myself. But so I have no idea what that feels like. But that is also at the end of the day the other side of the coin to it, right? When you get out. So
Most definitely.
so well, go on.
No, I mean, so it's just so having all that in your life, and even like I said, even while you're overseas, while you're fighting, while you're serving your country in any way, shape, or form, things are going to happen. But like you're protected. You know that you're safe, and if you break down, you got that guy right next to you who's going to lift you right up. So it's, believe it or not, you're healed more than by the guy next to you than the doctors that they send you home to see. So it's like
Yeah.
when you get home, it's like they literally want to separate you. So they want to put you in these different, classes and these different, therapy sessions and all these things, but they're just pulling you away from the ones that can actually be there for you and know what you've been through. They know
Yes.
how, it's not even that they even know how to have to know how to help you. It's just that you're able to release that because you have them still. In
Yeah.
some
You,
cases, they just throw you out of the military, and there's no going back to your boys and in a time of peace and
yeah.
being able to calm down together and work that shit out together. Because
Yeah.
honestly, when you have that opportunity, it's amazing.
Do you well, because obviously everybody goes their own way, right? And well, in your case especially because you didn't get to share your last tour with them. And so you were already separated there. However, even after that, right, then everybody goes sort of their separate ways and have to deal by themselves with their own uh, thoughts, with their own traumas, with their own, whatever they come back with, either also physical injuries or just the trauma itself. And so, there is no way that you actually get stimulated to find each other.
Right. I mean, it is hard because you do come like no matter what unit you're in, you know, most of the people you're with, you don't come from the same place. So
Right. Yeah.
when you go back, it's like you don't have that. And those guys are the ones that were literally in every single thing that you had went through. So
Yeah.
technically, they're really the only ones that could truly understand you. So when the military takes you away from them,
Yeah.
it's literally ripping a piece of your soul, like right out. Like,
Yes.
because these guys, like I said, have fought and died together. Like this is, it's insane. Like that they want to take you away and just send you home. It's like wait till the well, you know, if you have to send someone home early, fine. But wait till his unit comes back. Wait till everybody's getting their downtime together. Let them heal together. And if then you decide that they're not good enough, or I mean they've had enough in that type of situation, then yeah,
Yeah.
they go home. But at least they've had that time with them to heal because they know that they're going to separate from them and they have that connection with them. So why rip that away so fast? Like
What?
help. It blows my mind.
Why don't they stimulate that? Do they well, do they actually stimulate the opposite? So to actually separate you.
Yeah, separate you, drug you up, and kick you out. It's like once they have a diagnosis on you, you're pretty much useless. But it's like you're not. It's just
Yeah.
they don't want to waste the time and the effort and the money and all those things. So it's like you're done. When I was hurt, like who knows that I wouldn't have got better if they had given me the proper treatment, like when I broke my neck. But they didn't. So it was like I could never get back to that point. And so when they put me on med hold, it was like, here's a bunch of drugs and hide out in this basement while we wait to see if you get better. It's like you don't get better that way, and it's I don't know.
So you came, because you came out obviously with physical problems, like, to say the least, broken
Right.
neck and all that. But at the same time, you came also back with mental trauma, due to what you've seen, right?
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
so,
of course.
but at the time, obviously your priority first is to get your body back, because that's how you end it anyway when you get out, because obviously you're injured, so that's when you
Hmm.
get out, and you go through this whole mill of physical therapies and all that to get your body at least a bit back to normal, for as far that was possible at the time. But then on top of that comes the psychological problem. And so, how do they deal with that?
Honestly, it's. I mean, they have like when you go to the VA after when you're out and things like that. They have these group therapies and things like that, and people with PTSD, and they get you talking together and stuff. But it's like for me, I had a hard time with those types of things because like these group sessions that it's like not only am I living my own memories again, like over and over through every session with these people, but
Hmm.
I'm living their memories too. So it's almost like because I've been through it, I can feel and see what they've went through. And
Yeah.
it actually makes it so much harder for me because I feel like I'm taking on more of a burden than I need to. And it's not that you shouldn't talk to your friends and stuff, but like so many of the stories are so different, and so many of the people that have it are from a whole like different type of job. Like some of them are just truckers in the military, some of them are medics, some of them. So it's
Yeah.
not like they've truly had the same experience. So it's like when you're in that state of mind and you're upset because literally you've been dodging bullets for the god knows how long, and you got somebody who is in a truck, and trust me, it's all the same. Like whatever your PTSD is, I'm not saying it's diminished or
No.
because of what you did. I'm just saying that like a soldier, an actual, I'm 11 Bravo, so I'm a foot soldier. That's what I do, infantry. So infantry soldiers, I mean, it's hard to say, but it's like
Yeah, you feel like they cannot relate
they
to
can't relate totally because it's not like they did it every single day, and it's not like they're kicking down doors and running into things that you'll see when you open some of these doors that will just blow your mind, and like a horrific scenes and things like that. It's like, I don't know, it's hard to like accept that somebody else has the same amount when you're going through it. I mean, after you can understand it, I get it now. Like I mean, I can see how everyone has it, but there's so many different levels of it because of the experiences. So it's hard to like have a written way to do things. There is no way. Everybody has their own way. It's just a matter of finding those specific techniques that work for you. You know what I
Well,
mean?
yeah, that's it.
Filling that void that you don't have that purpose anymore, because you used to be fighting for your country, protecting your family.
Yeah,
You're doing these amazing things, and then you come home and there's nothing, and
yeah,
you don't know what to do. And because you're dealing with the mental stuff, you can't really work. And then your family, is happy to see you, and you want to see them and you love them. But at the
mm,
same time, they expect some things out of you. And to be honest with you, when we come home, expect nothing. Don't push, don't press. Like it's
yeah,
only going to hurt more. And we'll come to you for sure, when we need you. But if you give us that space,
yeah.
but when you start taking that space away, it's like we've just had a whole other life ripped away from us.
Well, that's it.
So,
Where and this is another part where, I think there should be a responsibility from the military point of view as to how they deal, and make it part of your training what to expect when you get back. So at the same
well, I
time,
mean, they have something like that, but it's trash.
well, yeah, because it doesn't even compare to what the real thing is. And then at the same time, you come home to a family that had like a normal life, and they cannot relate, not even remotely, to what you've been through. And so what you get is this huge, huge contrast where. Obviously, that usually ends up in a lot of fighting, maybe, and or silence, because what are you going to talk about?
Right.
Because you have this feeling that you're not understood, because let's face it, you come out of a different world. I mean, a world where there is a continuously non-stop boost of adrenaline going through your body,
Hmm.
and all of a sudden you find yourself boom in the suburbs, and
Right.
I can totally relate to that in another sense, where I have sort of the same, coming out of a clinic and all that, and then you're dropped within, the normal environment, and all of a sudden, well, deal with it, go back to normal life. Well, you can't, because, I mean, I'm still not done apparently, and so for you guys, it must be like, well, 10 times worse. So then what you get is that, we talked about that, right? The VA, how
Hmm.
they then have their own ways of trying to, well, first of all, they keep you home, right? So
Yeah.
you have
They do.
nothing to do.
Right. They don't really, at certain points, it's like, especially if you come out and say you're 100% and like me, 100 and total permanent disabled, I can't even work. Like as that rating, I want to have it changed so that I can go back to working. But I'm saying like while you have that, you can't work legally because you can't collect another paycheck on top of that. But 100% disabled you can, but total and permanent you can't. So it's like, how is that even fair? It's like, why would you even rate somebody that? If you're going to rate someone 100%, rate them 100% and give them their benefits, and they do as they want, because
Yeah,
they still have those injuries. They ain't going away. They're just finding ways to deal with it and make the living. Like, I mean, it's not, they don't give you enough to, if they give me enough and I'm 100 in total per, they give me enough to pay my bills and feed myself. That's it.
exactly. So
That's all I have. I have nothing other than that. I don't have anything outside of that, like no extra cash to go have fun, things like that. So it makes it impossible.
exactly. So on top of, having physical injuries, on top of that, you've got your trauma that you cannot, release anywhere, because your bodies are who knows where, and then on top of that, you have to make worry about money, and that is just, and then they are surprised that, because from there it goes from bad to worse, obviously, because what you get is, well, I can name them all. Guilt feelings about what you've been through, right? You get these feelings where, oh, what have I done? Because then you get back to earth, and you see all of a sudden what war looks like from a different perspective, and you realize all the things you've been through. So you get the guilt feelings, you get the depressions, you get the anger, all those stages that you go through. But at the same time, that slowly develops with as a PTSD, which then they make it even more possible to, and your life complicated by not even giving you the proper help. So then you get at psychiatrist and psychologist, and what is the worst freaking question a psychologist or a psychiatrist can ask you? We can
How does
all,
that make you feel?
how the hell does that make you feel? There is nothing worse, but it's not even the question that's the problem. I figured, I was thinking about that today. It's not the question that is the problem. The problem is that, like a bloodhound, you can smell. They have no clue what they're talking about. And the only reason they ask, how does that make you feel, is because their book told them so. Now,
Yeah.
I don't want to, you know, paint them all as bad, etc., because obviously they studied for it and all that, and they mean well. But if you haven't been through crap yourself, you just feel that the person in front of you is treating you like a number, and because their book told them a certain way how they treat you, you get the cookie cutter treatment, which only infuriates you even more with every week that passes by and every session that you go to them. And um and it's not even their fault, but that is what the system is, right?
hmm Yeah, I mean, it's like if you think about it, like when they do separate you in your home and you're seeing your therapists and your psychiatrists and all that shit, like they make you do it. You have to see them. It's just how it goes. And you're not only that, the first I don't know however many months you're still waiting for your benefits. Like so, they've let you out of the military, and now you're waiting for benefits. So you're not even getting paid for a while you're receiving treatment and doing all these things. But while you're getting treatment, they're giving you all these different medications. I mean, they went to as far as lithium with me, which is ridiculous. Like, I mean, they give you so many things that mess up the chemicals in your brain, as opposed to just leaving it alone and finding natural ways to heal it through exercise and activities, and talking about you can talk, sure, but it's like I think that they should work on getting therapists for the VA that are war vets or
Yeah,
that have been through those things. Like they don't even have to be a fucking therapist. Like they could just be a human being, but you can have that one on one with that person. And I think it
that's
would
it.
do 10 times more than any therapist can do, because they're not shoving that jargon and that literally that whole script down your throat. Like that's what it
Exactly.
is. It's a total script. And it's like everybody's the same. Everybody's treated the same. If this drug doesn't work, we'll give you another one. Well, half the drugs they gave me wanted to make me kill myself. Half the drugs they gave me, they had me fucking driving a car out in the middle of the night, 4 in the morning, in my underwear. Didn't even know it, getting pulled over by the police and waking up like as if I was driving, sleeping the whole time. So
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah,
it's
because then
insane.
they expect you to like participate in these kinds of sessions, but most of the time you're not even there because they pump you full with all these medications. I've been there,
Well,
and
you can't
also
remember anything.
you can't remember anything. How do they expect you to process anything? It's such a waste of time, and I've been there myself. This is also the reason why I can just cite every single trauma in detail if I want to, without even having it phase me. Why? Because I've done this over and over and over again. Now, some people get really angry and they react in different ways. What I did, I just dissociate and just went on rambling. But it didn't bring me anything, because it brings the opposite. It either infuriates you, and then they think that because you infuriated, they triggered something to make you better, right? Because that's how it
hmm
is. That's when they make that stupid question like, how does that make you feel? Yeah, what do you think? What that, you just want to slap them. But in my case, I would just dissociate, and just ramble on. And if they say, how does it make you feel? Well, yeah, but for me, it didn't make any difference when I came out of there. And I did this over and over again. And the 2 years, I just wanted to die every single day. Same, these suicidal thoughts that you have. And because you are filled with medication, you know, I
Mm.
mean, you're literally not on the planet. So in your case, what they do is like mistake upon mistake upon mistake in order to make it worse, only to then be surprised that all these veterans kill themselves after years of trying and breaking broken marriages, broken families, and then going through all that stuff. It's insane, if you ask me. And the fact that this is still going on today in this old fashioned kind of way, where they actually think that they help people and they're not, because we've been talking about what would actually help, right?
Yeah,
uh,
a little bit.
and so what will you suggest in that case? Because yeah.
I mean, so there's another side to a veteran coming home. So, I don't care what people think of me, but I loved my job. Like I was in the infantry. Yeah, maybe I you might see that as a little difficult to understand, but I loved my job. It wasn't
Your
just the
micro.
camaraderie. It wasn't just like the camaraderie or the brotherhood either. I mean, I literally enjoyed it. So I love guns. I love fighting. I mean, it is what it is. But it's like that adrenaline that you have while you're doing those things is what actually is what you really love. It's not necessarily the act of you doing what you're doing, but it's the adrenaline that keeps pumping you and getting you psyched up, and you're doing all these things like, and then again you don't have that when you get home because it's
Yeah, because
drugs and stay home and do nothing, and it sucks. It's like if they I know they have programs like Wounded Warrior and things like that, and they have events and stuff, but it's like it would be nice to literally have a complete structured plan where it's like they're doing something 3 days a week, like some type of activity, whether it's like a flag football thing or it's skydiving or whatever it may be. I mean, you find something that pumps you up, something that like gives you that adrenaline. Maybe we all go to the gun range one day together, like whatever it is that gets you going and gets that feeling in you. You need to keep that. You don't
well,
want to
yeah.
let that go.
Well, because it stops from one moment at the other. Instead of tapering it off, when you come back, the first thing to do is actually keep going with that adrenaline. That
Right.
means that you can slowly start adjusting to the environment that you're back in, but still maintaining that feeling. And on top of that, obviously, the brotherhood camaraderie that you have, they take that away. They take literally away the best things.
Right. The best part of the healing they take away. It's like it's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
I don't get it half the time.
But also obviously there's, well, in your case also, where you have physical uh ailments, yeah, that needs to be healed. And so how long did that take for you to that you were like, but because, well, obviously you were also pumped full with medication that would make you numb. So can you tell a bit about how that journey for you went, say from the moment you came out till.
Well, first, I mean, when you go back, I'm going back home with a broken spine, and the military and the VA and everybody else is telling me that it's a 10% disability. It's not significant. So I really got nothing like for benefits whatsoever.
Like, what do you really need to break in order for them to give 100%, right? But
Well,
we
you gotta
know,
miss a limb or something. Like it's literally coming. It was coming down to that under Obama. It was like if you weren't missing a piece of your body, you weren't getting rated the way you should get rated. So it's like I would go through that, and that happened for like 6 years almost. Like literally, like that's how it was. It was pretty bad. Like that. That's all I would have, and then it's like it didn't get better, and then I got a little bit of an increase because of appeal after appeal after appeal, and you get little bumps here and there, but it's like because of the policies that were in place under Obama, it was literally never going to happen. It wouldn't. So I went years making like pennies. The only way I was able to survive was I used my GI Bill to go to school, even though I was suffering tremendously. the meds kept me numb enough, like my pain numb enough. Like I mean, obviously I had to keep taking it over and over and over and over, which was the worst thing that I ever did, and I didn't even know I was doing it because it's like it makes you feel better, it
Yeah.
makes you feel better, but it's not because every time you're coming off of that one dose, and at a point when you've been on it for years, it's like it's every dose you withdraw from, and the second you withdraw, your body starts to hurt. So it's like
Mhm.
the only way that it works or the only way you get better is if you completely eliminate that from your life. Like those drugs are specifically, like I mean, I use pot and things like that, but I don't use anything else. I use THC rubs, or I use, I smoke here and there, but that helps with my pain, but it also helps my PTSD, and it helps with just being stable. Like for me, it's not about getting high; it's about just healing the problems that I have. So I only use it enough that I need it to.
So then how long did the whole process that you were in the hospital, for example, was that a long period? Because
Yeah, I mean, I was in the hospital for about 4 months before my procedure happened. I had that they let me go back to my home state of Boston, Massachusetts, and Boston, and it took us like I don't know, like 40, 50 different doctors before I would get one that would actually do it. So it's like then you find the right doctor. He does the procedure. I mean, like complete reconstruction. There's titanium rods and plates and synthetic bone and like all this stuff. And it was blew my mind because it's like this tiniest little cut because the guy's second specialty just happened to be plastic surgery. So I was like, how could you do all that inside of here? And it was like
holy,
crazy. I don't know how they do it, but that was like probably the only doctor that I ever really liked. He was like the only
yes,
one that, and he didn't want to drug me up. He wanted me to just have it enough to get through the initial pain of the surgery,
right,
and he wanted me to taper off right away, which every doctor should do. But once I went
exactly.
back to the VA, boom, 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 here's drug, 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 drug. It's like they never wanted me to get better. Like they could have may help me get better.
Well, that's it, right? Because that's how they keep you actually in that state. But at the same time, I mean, well, obviously you get this paid by your insurance from military, right?
Yeah, the VA pays for my medical treatment and all that. So, but that's coming out of the taxpayers' dollars too. So if you think about that, it's like with all these extra treatments that they're just throwing you through, it's like, is it really going to the VA, or is half of this money being cycled through with all this other bullshit that we're seeing these
Exactly.
days? So it's like, how do we know? Because like
Because if
they
they,
keep getting money, but the hospitals are still the same. They're not changing. They're not upgrading as much as they should be.
well, not
Like some of them
only,
you walk into and they still look like shitholes.
well, they give you the quick fix, which is, medication. And instead of actually treating the problem, they only suppress the problem with all these medication. And because there's plenty of therapies that can be done, right? And
Mhm.
so eventually, how did you get off all these because you had like opioids, you had like pain medications, you
Nerve
had
pain medications, and the nerve ones are the worst. Like, they have the Cymbalta, Neurontin, gabapentin, all these things. And that's usually what they try to bring you to sometimes when they're taking you off all the opioids. But it literally, like I said, changes the chemical makeup of the way your brain works. It's trying to rework the way your nerves work, and your body's not wanting to do it. Your body will heal itself. You have the power to heal yourself with your mind. I mean, if you just keep focusing hard enough and you keep telling yourself that it's getting better,
yeah,
it's going to, because it's literally how you heal yourself. You
yeah,
have to believe that it's working. You have to know that everything you're about to do is going to make you better. You have
yes.
to believe that.
Well, yeah, I know firsthand that it works that way because that's where I've been. I didn't get off my medication in rehab, not even by a little. I got off it like here and energetically. I mean, and that's the more I got better within here, the easier it was to get off. But obviously, they took me off it when I was in rehab for 6 months, and
Mhm.
they say it's one of the worst things to come off, which was at the time was Xanax. But I didn't even notice it because I had so many other traumas to go through over there that I didn't even notice it. But yeah, and then you see how strong the mind actually is. So eventually you quit everything all at once, right?
Yeah, so and that's not too long ago. So like literally I'm
How long?
on 13 months now.
Oh,
13
wow.
months, 13 months meds free. I only, like I said, only thing I use is pot. I don't use anything else. I don't drink. I actually stopped drinking a long time ago. I actually stopped drinking probably like 6 months after I got out because honestly, the drinking is what kept giving me the nightmares. And
Oh,
it's something about the how deep it would take me into a certain sleep or whatever it was when I was drunk, that was when the worst nightmares would happen. So I mean, I found a way to, stop drinking. And some people drink a lot. I mean, I used to drink
yeah,
a decent amount. I was a soldier, we all drink, but I was never in love with drinking like some people
yeah,
love to drink, and that's cool, like if that's your thing. But it really has a tremendous impact on the way you sleep and
yeah.
how far it takes you into those old memories. So for me, I
Well, we,
when I wipe those out, like honestly, I don't drink at all. Like I'll have one at a social wedding or maybe a dinner. I'll have one or two, but that's it. Like I just don't. I'm not like a guy who comes home and has a six pack. It's just not for me. So I'll come home and smoke a joint. Yeah, that helps me. It takes
yeah,
away my anxiety, helps my pain, and mostly I use it for my pain because I've been managing my anxiety pretty well. Yeah, I still blow up. I still have reactions. It's going to be there. It's nothing I can do about it, but I've learned that there's more in my life than those memories,
yeah.
and I'm sorry, but like, I think that when people are like, you have to talk about, you have to talk about them, you don't really if it doesn't work for you.
Well, I
You
do.
talk a little when you're ready, but I'm saying with the way
Yeah,
that they want to force you to talk about it when they're ready to talk about it, it's
I
like you're not
agree.
ready. You know what I mean? You're not ready for that yet.
I agree. And every person responds differently because I did too. I mean, for me, complete different things work than what is written in their books. And this is why I did it by myself as well. And I figured out how and what worked for me. It doesn't mean you have to per se rattle up all the memories, because you don't. You really don't. Uh, and I discovered that for myself as well. But apparently that's a thing that they seem to think in psychiatry. Oh, you need to talk about it, you need to, but no, I found there are a few basic things that everybody needs in order to heal. And looking back at it now, and that's first of all the grounding, very important to be able to, well, first of all, being sober, being a and the will
You got to be
to
present too. You need to be
yeah, you need to
present
be
at the
present.
beginning, especially at the beginning. You need to be present.
Yeah, that's one. Then self-worth, because that is going to be torn away from you in all these years that you're busy. I mean, your self-esteem goes like to the floor and lower, right? Because you go through all these things, nobody understands you, and it goes from bad to worse. So self-worth is another one that needs to be taken care of. Another one that is very important, obviously, is to if you came out of like an environment where you had a higher adrenaline, sports or whatever, where you can find that same rush, because
Right.
you do not want to make it an addiction, obviously, but you do want, and it's natural, because even people that are in sports, they get that same adrenaline rush. This is why they sport in the first place, right? And
Mhm.
so by taking exactly everything that is so important away, it only makes it worse. And so I do agree with you there that you do not need to bring up every single freaking memory. No, you
And
don't.
I'm still bringing up memories now, years later, and that's fine because now my mind's ready to deal with it. It's like,
Exactly.
just take it how it comes. Deal with one of them at a time. They want you to like literally work the whole thing out all at once. It's like it's not
Yes.
going to happen, and it ain't going to work. And then the more they try, they're just killing your soul
Yeah.
completely. That's what pushes you into these holes.
Exactly. Exactly. That I do recognize that myself as well. They just push you there, and that's how the mainstream, well, therapists,
Mainstream pharma, yeah, that's it.
the mainstream therapists, they work that way. But and that's the most annoying thing, is because they have no clue. Oh, they've been, I don't know how many years studying from their books, and now I mean, they got to sit in front of people that been through stuff that they cannot even fathom, you know? And they're going to tell you, how do you feel about it, with their, like, um their voice, that like they read it out of, you see their mind going as well, right? Like, oh, this is the moment where I have to say it,
Right.
and you feel it coming, and as soon as they do it, you just, I mean, you just explode. I mean, I would.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I can imagine, but because then you got a few guys in front of you, like military guys, they freaking explode. Like, I mean, it can become dangerous if you do stuff like that, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've had things happen where people would wake me up in the middle of the night and I end up, snatching them up, like just
Yeah,
because that was more closer to when I first got out. I mean, I've obviously settled down and that type of thing over the years, but in the beginning, it's like, don't wake a German soldier up. Just don't do it. Just let him sleep. He'll wake up on his own, or she'll wake up on her own, whatever it is. Like, honestly, it's a bad thing to do because anything could happen.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I do know this also from the nightmares, that when they can wake up and they feel like they're in the battlefield and they're gonna attack the one that's next to them. And
you're
this
better off just removing yourself from the situation. If they're having a nightmare, go sleep on the couch. Don't try to wake them up. They'll get out of it. They'll work it out. Just leave them there because you don't want to be in the room maybe when they wake up.
Yeah,
Like I said, I've I've put my hands on somebody before because of something like that, and
yeah.
you don't want to do
Yeah, I've been there too with
that.
my ex. He would then wake up and in a complete different mindset, like fury,
Hmm.
and he would just wake up like that, and I knew he couldn't help it, but I mean, you're just at there, and you're the one
Right.
that's going to be the target, right? It's not
Hmm.
like he was like violent with me, but the aggression is like full blown. And
Hmm.
so yeah, although I did understand, because I could distinguish very well what was going on. For me,
Right.
it was equal to like a panic attack, but then for me, it was an anxiety. For him, it was like a panic attack, but then with rage, And well, all you can do is just be quiet.
Because yeah, he just woke up with like 100,000 pounds of adrenaline running through his body, like
Yes.
out of nowhere. So he's already like at 100, and as soon as he gets up, forget about what happens
Exactly. Well, that's it. The adrenaline that goes through somebody when they have this rage. And I recognize that for myself. Only for me, it scared the shit out of me when I had that, because, I would just lose it. And I wouldn't know what I would be doing if I snapped like that. And it could
after.
be like something simple. I had a period that if I would like hear an electric guitar, I would just get triggered, and I would like instantly, within like a millisecond, just go in a rage, and I didn't know why. It just happened.
Hmm.
And it was just this little sound that triggered it. So I can only imagine. I mean, if you have a guy and you're what, like 2 meters tall, which
I'm
is,
six, well, 6'7", yeah.
yeah, I mean, that's not an easy thing to deal with, right? If there's somebody next to you that could be the target of that. But yeah, you need to know how to deal with that. And I wonder, do, like, when your spouse or other family members, they obviously don't know what hit them, or are they warned when you get out?
As far as I know, some people, some family members get like a small briefing or something. I've seen that happen, but yeah, there's nothing they can tell them that they're ever going to understand. It
Yeah, you
really
can
doesn't
be.
matter. I honestly think that if there was a way to have like, your family has, say, like a two-family house, and even though you're married or whatever it may be, you have a separate apartment that you live in when you get home,
Yes.
and they're right there, and you have them and they know you're there, so it's okay. But it's almost like you need to have that, you have to have the isolation space, but you
Mm,
need to be close enough that you can still have that connection. So
Ex-
it's hard to explain. It's like, so that way, when say things get really heated and you start feeling that rage build up and you know it's coming, you
yeah,
immediately just separate yourself from the situation. And
yeah,
it's got nothing to do with the other person. The other
no,
person should not take offense to this. And this is all I'm saying. It's nothing against you. It's what they're going through. And if they have that extra space to go and do that, like when they're coming home, it will give them that escape, and then they can calm down, and then maybe they'll come back and talk about it. But it's
yeah.
like they need to have that, and you can't fight them if they're trying to like just walk out the door and take a walk. If you
Yeah.
do that, you're gonna push them away. I'm telling you
Oh
that right
yeah.
now. So this is for
I
the people that have people in their lives that have PTSD too, not just the ones that do.
yeah, I had to learn the hard way as well because
Of
you want to try to fix things and you can't because
course. I mean, you love them. Like, what do
yeah,
you
yeah. And well, we never lived together either because it was impossible to do so, So there always had to be this escape route, and eventually the span between that became smaller and smaller because then you start to work with each other as best as you can, and but yeah, I do believe that many don't make it afterwards when they come back. I assume, I mean, because yeah, it's such a difficult situation. So but in your case, well, obviously you have your faith, and you also, because not everybody picks deals with things the same way. Obviously, some people are much more sensitive, like in your case. The way that you are, it could have wind up much worse if you didn't cope the way that you did, right? And
mm,
so what you get then is that other people that are not like you wind up way worse because they tend to bury themselves within their own lives, guilt feelings, and more rage, maybe, because they're at the end of their ropes, and yet nobody gives them any sort of solution or ways to get out of that. And so there are people that maybe are from your you know brotherhood, so to speak, that are still struggling like the way when even worse than when they came back, right after they came back.
mm.
Is there anything you know about that?
I mean, a lot of people after they come back, they're still struggling even after they get their help, and I mean, some of them feel like there's nowhere to turn. Like they don't know where to go, what to do. Like I said, there's no system in place for it, and there's no way for. I mean, yeah, you have the VA, but it's weird. It's not like you go there and you find the perfect connection. So it's so hard. That's why I like the idea of having your time with your unit before you're discharged, if you're getting discharged. Like, I just think it's important, like, because
Yes.
you're able to, slowly sever that connection as opposed to just cutting off a piece of your life altogether. Because in most cases, I haven't seen most of the guys I fought with in years. I had a reunion with some of them like 6 years ago, and that was it. Like, so it's like you don't always have that opportunity, and their lives change and people lose touch, and even though these are the best of friends and your brothers and your sisters, life sucks, and
well
the distance is the hardest part. So
well
it's like
that's
you don't have them. And I mean, nowadays it's great because you have all these video chats and things like that. So it's
mm,
like I mean, didn't have, I mean, we had that, but not really have this type of capability that we have now while I was serving. So it's like, it's great that you can do these types of things. Like, honestly, they should all be Zooming, every single one
yeah,
of them. And if you served with somebody, your unit, you guys are all getting out, whatever it is,
yeah,
Zoom the shit out of it. Like, you need to see each other. You guys can talk to each other better than anyone will help you. I'm sorry,
exactly.
that's just how it is.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
absolutely. I think there's no better support system than those that you actually worked with, right? And
Right.
also for like people that have been back like a long time ago and still struggling like this, because there are many, because obviously they've been under the whole Obama system that was so corrupt. So they went from bad to worse. And
Yeah, and you think about Vietnam vets. They were the worst treated veterans
yeah,
in history. It took them decades before they ever got any benefit. Decades. Like that's insane to me.
Well, how many
So
are
think,
still homeless? Those
and
that are,
that's the thing is most of them, like I'm not saying most of them, but most of the homeless veterans come from that generation, like from
yeah,
that war, and it's sad because they turn their backs on them, and and we see it more and more every day. Even now, it's like until we had Trump, like I said, with my disability, it was the first appeal, and I had done 8 appeals prior to that under Obama to get my stuff changed, and so I had to do evaluations 8 different times. My very first one under Trump is
wow.
when everything got turned to me, and it was the complete opposite of everything Obama did to me. I even got like 4 years back pay that Obama fucked me up. So it was great.
How did he change the VA system for what you know?
Well, as far as him removing certain people, and then they had to reevaluate the rating system because the rating system was built to just save the VA money. Like
Oh,
literally,
right, yeah,
that's what it was built for. I mean, that they keep their money. They don't really want to give it to us, whether they say they do or not. But
exactly.
he had the whole system revamped, so it's like now they have a whole rating system that's different. The process through is completely different as far as getting your evaluations done, so it's way more effective, and they're actually starting to rate and treat people accordingly. But again, there's still the lack of the right type of treatments because, it's just a system.
Yeah, plus somebody doesn't go like outside of the military to look for, a therapist because,
Well, you have that now. I mean, they actually have that
oh, they
option
do.
now. Yeah, they have a choice that they can go outside of the VA,
Well,
but
yeah, they have the choice, but then still, where are you going to go? You need to know. You need to know where to find the right people.
right.
It's not like you go to some random Karen, that did her 8 year, study at University X, where she's gonna. I mean, really, they cannot deal with that. They can't, you know, and so how do you find these people, right? And this is actually what also infuriated me because in my case, well, it was all sorts of things, so there was not one specific diagnosis. So obviously what they do is they stamp you 1 year with whatever diagnosis, and then the next with the other, and all they do is give you the medication according to the stamp that they gave you that year,
Right.
stamp of the year, I call them. And so
Hmm.
in the civil world it's kind of the same. However, um yeah, we can still kind of, well, I managed eventually to do it all by myself with alternative therapies and without whatever worked for me, because after 25 years you do learn, although the
Hmm.
hard way, but you do. And this is also back to the website, why I want to specifically help people like that, because, well, I know how it feels because I've been there, and nobody has to go through that for so long, not to mention suffer worse than where it all started, right? Because at the end of the day, your war is at home. Is You could almost say it's worse than it was wherever they send you, right?
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
well, yeah. And so and this is where I want to well, obviously build my website on and help people to give a complete different approach, coming from experience, and getting also help from other veterans that actually been through it, that can help. And anything that is possible to give the right way of treatment, because I do believe it's there. I do believe it's possible. I know that I can, because I did it myself, and I helped a lot of people behind the scenes, um, that have been struggling for years and years and years through that same, system,
Hmm.
mainstream system. And do you think that they will ever ask actually veterans what they think would be the best way and solution to help them? Because it doesn't seem like It's rather a business model than it is actually to help people, right?
Even if they asked, it's like whatever we would tell them, they wouldn't even. I honestly think they wouldn't even take it into account. It's like because I've suggested things just to my doctors alone on the treatment that I would like to take, and they've chosen what they want me to do. So it's like you want to do certain things, and then they keep convincing you otherwise, and because you're just like half the time. I mean, when you're dealing with all this, you're like, I really don't care at this point. Just do whatever, and you'll
Wow.
take whatever and you'll do whatever, and next thing you know, you, like I said, you're warping the shit out of your mind, and
Yeah.
now you're dealing with things that you honestly didn't need to deal with, and the medications are constantly bringing them to light, and the conversations and all these things because you're not
Yeah.
ready, and those are forcing all that stuff out. So it's like it really, it's time, patience, activities, things, you just you need to find another purpose. And for me, it's like, you find something that you love. Like, so outside of the military, I went to school for architecture. I love I do graphic design, things like
Mm.
that. So I put some of my effort into those things. I love guns, so shoot as
But you
often
did
as I
that
can.
yourself because you found that way eventually. But
Right.
many obviously are not like you. They have
Right.
made.
So they need to find their own. Right.
Yeah. However, they may need assistance with that. And also, I was thinking, like the whole, because I'm not gonna throw every psychiatrist and psychologist under the bus. However, what is their main way of education is that you are a number. You're not a person. You're a number. And second is that what lacks is empathy. What lacks is also the humanity within therapies. And another thing that lacks is their experience. It's just simply not there, you know? And then you as a patient, as you may call it, you do feel that, right?
Hmm.
Like a
Right.
bloodhound smells
Hmm.
blood. You smell it when they are inexperienced. You just know. Actually, you
Yeah.
start playing with them around because you know, and
And then you scare them, and then they're like, "Oh, wait a minute." Yeah.
yeah, all the more reason for them to pump you full with medication because uh, I mean, you just start to play with them like a cat would play with a mouse, but at the end of the day, yeah, you're the one that's going to be suffering for it. So in the long run, it's yeah, well, it's pure boredom as well, I guess, because I did the same things. However, it doesn't heal you, does it?
No.
So and this is where I well, I want to go with my website as well and with helping people. And I also definitely want to try on the long run, and it may be a big fat dream and a very ambitious one, is to just change that system because I'm done with it. I've done
Hmm.
I'm 51. I've done 25 years, 24/7, nothing but working on myself, of which the first 15 years were complete hell because, mainstream medics, and the other 10 years I've done that, but at least I saw change, and when I saw change I got more confidence, and the more confidence I got, the more meticulous I became with it. And now anything that happens to me, I just laugh because immediately I say, ah, bring it on. It's a challenge to me now, right? It's not anymore a pain. Yes, I've been through all that crap, and yes, I just mentioned it cold. Why? Because I'm not a victim. I'm actually, I mean, I wouldn't have it any other way because this is how I learned, to, well, what I know now, and obviously a new mission. But I guess for you, it's the same thing, right? Because we're in this movement not with a reason, right?
Right, right, exactly. I mean, and to all the people that, are veterans and watching this, based on all what you obviously you follow what we follow, so you know exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But now knowing what you know, if you're still suffering and you're not sure, you're questioning things that you may have done, or you felt that, maybe you didn't do the right thing or whatever, those questions don't matter. That you did nothing wrong. This was not your fault. You should have never been there in the first place. So don't ever put that responsibility on yourself because it's not your fault. It's
Yes.
not.
That's a very important one. And um because that's actually in every single trauma the same, this guilt feeling. Yeah. And the fault, the guilt feelings, those are the worst of all, and they can
They
drag
will
on.
crush you. They will
They
crush you.
Well, yeah, they crush in all sorts of ways, because that goes from depression to anger to anxiety to then morph into addictions. I've been through them all, like literally I've done them all. Well, obviously we learned that way. Also, shortcuts do not exist. However, um well, somebody like you and like me, we do have that experience, and then you also learn how it can work. And this is, well, I don't care how ambitious it is, but I do strive to actually get a system where people get actually helped. And obviously, I'm just one person, but it's about making a start and making a difference in this world. And if I can help one person, you know, that's all that matters. And by now, I passed the one person already. I've done a few, and but yeah, I do know that this is my mission. This is the reason why I went through whatever I went through, and it's all good, you know.
It's funny
And
how you said the one person thing. It's like literally, if you think about this everybody in the world, if every single person decided to help one person, just one, we literally we'd all be helping each other
exactly,
in ways that people couldn't even fathom. Like just think if you just did that one thing that day that someone asked you to do and you decided, and you just did it. Who knows? You changed his life, and then he helps that person changes their life. It's literally a cosmic, well, everybody's just coming together all at the same time, but everybody's literally afraid to help somebody. It's like you
well,
see somebody who's hurting it, and you even in your feeds, and I know you do it. Don't lie.
yes,
Someone's asking for prayers, and you scroll right by it. Guaranteed you do it.
I
Everybody does
never.
it at some point. I
No,
try
because I
not
feel
to.
too
If I see
guilty.
someone asking, if I see someone asking for help, I'm always trying to be there for them. I'm trying to pray for them. I'm trying to help them any way I can. But I know because I've scrolled past a couple. There's
I
a
don't.
couple
You
I
know
wasn't
why
too
I
sure
can't?
about, but
I
it does
can't,
happen.
because what always automatically happens when I do that, and then I think that could be me. That's the first thing I always think, that could be me.
Right.
And
How
I'm
hard is it to give them a 5 second tweet and just tell them that you're there for them if they need you, or just send them prayers or
That's
anything? It
it.
doesn't hurt you. It really doesn't. If you
Yeah,
don't
you don't
see it,
have
it's
to be
one
a
thing, but if you
doormat.
see it, just do it.
Yeah, because I do have people that then sometimes, they're like, oh, because she's so nice and she responds, and so obviously they start flooding my DMs, and I'm like, listen, you know it was nice and this and that, but I'm here for those that actually need me. And I've seen a
Right.
lot, a lot of people in the past half year that I started with my channel and with Twitter, and the people, well, clearly, because they see you on YouTube, they think, oh, they feel kind of better to talk to you. And but always I'm always thinking back to myself when I needed it and it wasn't there, you
Right.
know so for
Exactly.
me, that yeah, that is uh, also a bit of a survival guilt thing, but in a positive way, right? Because it always feels so good if you can help somebody, to me, that is. And I guess for you too. And the nice thing is that we're now in this great awakening, and now is the time where these things only accelerate and become bigger, right?
Every time you help somebody, you help your soul. Literally every single time.
Exactly.
Why not do it every day?
Yeah, I'm a firm believer in karma, and not in the way that, like, the Indians say. No, I do believe that if you give, you get back at all times.
And I give to just give. Like I don't expect anything.
Well,
Like
no,
I
I
want
don't
to. No,
expect
I know.
that.
I right, but you know
You
that
know,
it may come back to you. Of course, you I mean you're nice. You treat people right. It should be
well, yeah,
treated right. But
well, yeah.
it's you
Well,
never expect it, and you just
I'd
do it.
rather I rather think like, as long, actually, I should say it differently, because it's like, okay, if you do harm or you do something to somebody that actually you don't have to do, in a way that makes them feel like shit, then why would you do it? Because that will come back to you too, right? In Well, that's how I see it. And whether that's true or not, it really doesn't matter because it's because you create your reality, right? So the moment I feel that I pass by somebody ignoring it while I could actually help, then I will, because otherwise I feel like shit if I don't.
Yeah,
That's
like, see, if I come up to a homeless person and they're asking me for money, or they because they have a sign up that says they're hungry, I'll
yeah.
just ask. I'll be like, "What do you want to eat?" I'll grab you a bite. What do you want? Because
Yes.
I'll give them what they're asking for. I'm not giving them money because I know that in most
Yeah.
cases it's not going to be used for what it should be. But if they're
Exactly.
asking for food, sure, I'll give you
Yeah.
some food. I'll buy you McDonald's, or well, actually, I won't buy you McDonald's because we know
No.
what they do there. But I'll buy you something close by and I'll feed you. If I have something that I'm eating and you want half of it, sure, why not?
Yeah, because it takes so little to help somebody, and it doesn't even have to be with money either. I mean, it can be with anything, right?
Right.
Even just with kind words. But yeah, I did find my mission this way, and it's incredible actually how that works. But for you, the same, because you're in this movement now, and so how do you look at it now? From if you look back from where you came from, with everything that happened, and now you start slowly doing exercise again, and and getting back on the rails, because obviously it's a never ending story really. But on like me, I'm now in a comfortable position, as in I'm happy with myself. I know my self-worth, and and I know what I can give, and when I can't because I'm too tired or whatever, I won't. I'm not going to be giving more than I can. But um, yeah, I mean, it's
There's only
always
so
a
much
work.
one person can take. You know what I mean? You can only take so much. You recharge your batteries, and then you get back out there. It's
Exactly. And it's always a work in progress. However, now it's not any more suffering as it used to be. The same for you, right? Is it still suffering for you?
I mean, I'm still dealing with my own demons and whatever else, but that's everybody. So it's like, but knowing now, like with the movement and with everything that we do, with all these amazing people, and everyone's literally been there for a bunch of different reasons. Not even, for some simple things, and some people have showed up for some amazing things that have happened for me. You know what I mean? It's just having that level of support and being able to lean on people and they're willing to hear you and understand you and want to know who you are, it means a lot. Because in
Exactly.
most cases you cross people, they know you, they say hi, whatever, you have friends at work, but they really don't care about you half the time. This movement has literally brought people that seem to care about me. So I
Exactly.
like being around those people, positive vibes, positive people. I'm tired of all. I mean, I come from Massachusetts. It's as liberal as fuck as it gets, and everybody's a miserable bastard. Like it's literally a miserable because they're on 100 24/7 trying to pay every bill, and nobody's holding a door for somebody. Someone spills a coffee, they're like, whatever, go fuck yourself, and they won't even get you
Yeah.
a new one. It's like it's horrible. So
Do you have also that, like, because well, you said that you started out with PTSD as well, just like me, like since I was a child. And so since this movement, uh I, I can't remember that I've laughed so much and so often, like every single day in the past 3 years, and in the past like year, even more, even though it went only more dire with all the political situations. But I mean, I've never have laughed so much as since in this movement, and that's amazing actually if you think about it, right?
yeah, we have like gift dance parties and stuff. It's all good times, you know.
Yes, we have gift dance parties.
Hell yeah.
I mean, the creativity goes out of the roof lately with all those things. I mean, you can have virtual dance parties, did you know? But yeah,
Yeah,
that's
they were having on the Discord the other night, they were having fucking like music drinking party. I don't know. It was like whatever. I'm like, that's
the drinking
awesome.
is virtual, the music is virtual, and the dancing is virtual.
Yeah,
It was
that's
like
funny.
it was a blast. It was. But is there anything you want to say to veterans, that are still suffering actually, that don't, well, they don't have to, you know?
Yeah, I
What?
mean, first off, to anyone that's listening, if you are a veteran, feel free to DM me. We can talk, we can, work things out. I can help you explain, things that I've done in my past to help me feel better or to get through certain things. Um, maybe I can help you find your own little path to a regiment or things that will help keep you busy and occupied. And maybe we help you find, a new sense of purpose. Like, you know, there are plenty. Think about all the kids too, like in this, as far as what we're dealing with that movement. You have all these children that are going to be coming from all these random places, from these sex traffickers and all these things. They're going to need people, and a lot of you soldiers are strong, and kids respect soldiers and stuff. So it's like that could be a way that you could go and help them, like as far as just being a person that they can count on, playing some games with them while they're in these facilities that they're holding them in, whatever it may be. I'm sure there's things out there that you can do,
Well,
or animals, whatever it is, like whatever you really love, you could go to, donate your time to sanctuaries, and help animals, and get yourself outside doing things, but still having a purpose because you're helping other people. Like, you
yeah,
need to continue to help other people because that's what you do. That's who you are. Like, that
exactly.
you literally are selfless service to a T. So
Yeah, and
continue to do that.
you can still keep that adrenaline thing somewhere else within
Yeah,
sports,
you
whatever.
find that stuff. You know
Yeah,
what you love. You put that. You just start putting more energy into those things that give you that adrenaline. So that way you don't forget it, and it doesn't make you feel like you're any less of a man because you're not, or a woman. You're
exactly.
still powerful. I don't give a shit what you say. And
Yeah,
I know that you got the guts to get through anything because you've been through the worst of shit. So if you
yeah,
tell me that you can't get better, you're lying to yourself. You can. You just have to respect yourself, the people around you, and you have to be willing to do some work.
yeah.
But you have to do it yourself because these people aren't going to tell you how to do it because they don't know what you've been through.
Well,
But
I'd
find your brothers, find your friends that have done this. Like I said earlier, the Zoom meetings and stuff. You want your therapy? There it is. Find the ones that you fought side by side with. Find, other ones that know exactly what you've been through, and just have these cool conversations. Have fucking drinking parties on Zoom. Whatever you got to do. Like, just, be
Well, I wouldn't
together.
start with if it depends on what level you are, but I wouldn't
Yeah,
start with
right.
freaking drinking parties. But
Right.
and this is also where my thingy comes in is that actually, wait, hang on, let me do Sudabug before that goes away. Thank you so much, Sudabug, for your super chat. Keystone, no way, you're 51. Yes, I am. I am like Benjamin Button. I reverse age. While I get better and better, I look better as well. And such a beautiful smile. Thank you so much. That's so sweet. So that's really cool. Thank you. So what and here's where my work comes in is I really really know how to spot where somebody is within their um, stage of uh, healing
Transition,
or
healing,
or
transition,
or
whatever.
lack thereof,
Yeah.
or what is necessary as a first step. This is what I'm really really good at. This is what I mean, this is my thing. I can immediately pick where I can have to start. This is why I call it awakening to healing, because many people just don't know where to start, and this is where I can help, and I can also help building that up to the point where you are able to move forward for yourself, with all the tools that I can give, because this is how I learned it for myself, and this is also how I still monitor myself and also look at other people, how I help them and what works. And so over the years I've learned to figure all these things out. And so if you do need that help, that you are still in a point where you are in a deep depression, or you are still at the point where you think, okay, I don't even know where to start, then I'm your girl.
Yeah, reach out.
Not
We'll help you
literally,
out.
but
I'm your girl. No, not literally.
yeah, but
And I wanted to say one more thing. For me, like, I don't, nobody, like, whether you believe in God or you don't, I know some people may not, some people do. I do with all my heart. I know that he exists. I know that he's taking care of me. I know that he's protected me. But even if you don't believe in him, he's still there for you, whether you believe it or not. So you call on him. You call on
Well,
whoever you believe in. But for me, it's God. For everybody else, it's something else. But you have your higher powers. You have your angels. You have, you call on them and they will protect you. They will come
yeah.
for you. And it might not be the way that you think. It might be you ask them for something, and then 2 days later, a friend calls you, and boom, there it is.
Well,
But
this
it
is
didn't doesn't have to happen like right away, and don't expect it to. Just have faith and believe that he's there for you. That's all I got to say about that.
well, I studied the quantum mechanics, and so I'm coming more from a spiritual kind of side, but
Right.
also the quantum side, and so I can actually show you that it's you do create your own reality, and I can actually show you that with really small things, and this is interesting because these two things are so close to each other, whether it's God or spirituality, but they're actually that's God too, you know.
Right.
Uh,
Exactly.
People want to name it whatever, although name it source, name it whatever you want. However, it's very important that even if you do not have religion, faith, and all that, I can still help you with that as well because otherwise you're just an empty vessel and you need to believe in something because if you don't, then you have nothing to really live for. And but I can show you that.
Right. And we didn't come from monkeys. Just gonna say
Yeah, we're not
that.
we're not from the Darwin
Right.
kind of tribe, you know.
Right.
That's a whole different. Those are more on the left side of the planet.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I'm tired of that shit being taught in schools. They need to just throw that shit out. They shouldn't even be brought up because it doesn't
Yeah,
happen.
exactly. Yeah, don't curse.
Right.
And also, yeah, I want you all to know that I'm still busy setting up that website because I do need the funding for that, and
Yeah.
so any help is welcome to that because my I'm not rich. I'm just good at my skills, and that's all. I'm not a businesswoman whatsoever. Um, I
Yeah.
just want.
So if you can donate people, go to her GoFundMe, donate. That's the best way for her, obviously, because YouTube will just steal some of her money. So,
Yeah, and I cannot
if
have
you can help,
PayPal,
help.
and we don't have all the apps that America has because they're not valid here in Europe. So that makes it even more difficult because there's a trade war going on in the meantime. Well, I
I
don't
feel
blame.
bad for you guys. Really, I do. That sucks.
Well, yeah, I don't blame Trump for it. I mean, actually, he's doing a good job because at the end of the day, I live here, but we need to get rid of those. And yeah,
I
it's
bet
gonna
you
be.
when this is all over, I bet you a lot of anons across the world are going to stop moving to the United States.
Well, that's if I can actually work on my computer with people, I can be wherever I want. However, we do love Europe. We just want to have it restored, but before that is restored, it's yeah, it will take a
Why not?
while.
Just escape to America until we fix it. It'll be
Oh,
good.
well, that for sure. And then if Trump is my president too, then of course, who
And you
doesn't
got
want
some
that?
backup. You know what I mean? You got some backup. You're good.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, I wish I could say he's my president too, but I always say that anyway. I don't care. He's my president too. I'm
He's
just
the
gonna.
world's president, whether they
Yes,
like it or not.
I just borrow him from you guys
I
every now
keep
and
saying we want to adopt you guys. We want to adopt we want to adopt Australia. We want to adopt Canada, UK. We
yeah,
want
I've
to
been
bring
asking a lot
everybody.
of people if they want to adopt me, but usually I'm older than them, so it's becoming a bit of a problem. But yeah, I will get there. But no, I'm just kidding. I just want to help people. And don't forget, we're in this movement, and everybody has our backs. And all you do need is the right people with the right skills and the right knowledge. And Michael is one of them, and because he's been there, and I'm another one, and I'm just coming from a different angle. And yeah, just don't think I'm an easy one because I'll wipe the floor with you as well, even if
Yeah,
you're.
it's always good to be nice, and then you have that other side that if you cross me, you're screwed.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm not a doormat, but this is the way it works. And but you do need to, it is very important that I would never be like the type of therapist that I don't say anything about myself because it's all private. No, it's the whole point that if another person can actually tell you that they have the same experience, that builds a bond, and it also builds trust, because there is nothing that I detested more from psychiatrists and psychologists, that they would sit there with their perfect, little suit, and like they're immaculate, and
Mm,
usually most of them are more screwed than we are, but in a different way. And so, but yeah, I don't want to throw them all under the bus. I'm sorry, we just have bad experience with them. But I mean, definitely people always start a profession like that with the good intentions.
right,
um
of course.
yeah, now all is needed that kind of they use as well their own sovereign brain, sort of. And that's really it. So I hope you all had some help with this at least. And if you want to, because the website is not up yet, if you do want to contact me, my email is in the description. I put it in for those that want to contact me and need help before my website is up. And obviously, Michael will help me as well where it's needed. And I have different people that can actually help with all sorts of different things that I do not have expertise in, but that's the whole gist of it. So for those that are in dire need, even if you're not in dire need, but just in need, know that we are here, and you can
Reach
contact,
out.
reach out.
You have to reach out. I can't help you unless you reach out. So grow a sack and reach out.
Cat spotter, how does that make me feel? Well, it depends. Are you going to donate? I'll tell you how that makes me feel.
You're messing with us now.
Yeah. Yeah, now we can laugh about it, but when you're in that situation and somebody tells you that, uh I mean, I bet everybody has been there more or less, right?
Yeah, I
So
would say so.
any message you have to say still before we're gonna leave our bunch of friends here?
No, I mean they know if they need me, I'm here. So just holler.
Well, then I'll thank you all very much. I thank you for well,
Just
not
make sure y'all donate if you can to her, GoFundMe so we can get this thing going and help more people. Don't
yes.
forget, if you
And
can. I mean, I'm not begging you and pleading, but if you can, do it.
and you did not break down, so that went all
Yeah, I
perfect.
didn't even cry. Well, I cried for a second, but I
Yeah.
got through it pretty good. So I'm happy because I was hoping and I prayed that I would be clear of mind to give the message that I needed to give. So I hope it worked out.
Yeah, and if people want to hear more about it, or about the topic, or maybe we will have somebody else that has been through the same, or somebody that wants to come forward about it, please let me know. You can contact me for that too. And yeah, my eye is better today. Last time I sprayed hairspray in my eye instead of in my hair. Uh, but yeah, I tend to do things like that. And so please, thank you all for being here. Thank you, my mods. Great to see you. And I see that Tyler is still here. I mean, shoot, did we went over? Oh man, we went way
We
over.
went way over. I was gonna say something, but I didn't want to. I mean, it was flowing, so I just let it go.
I'm so
Sorry.
sorry. I'm so sorry. Yeah, because at this hour it's Journey to Truth, and they are always after me. And I don't know, Tyler, but can you please tell me if you guys are going live so I know? Actually, let him make a mod so he can actually drop his own links. It would be much nicer. Actually, there you go. So, Tyler, you can drop your own links now. So, thank you all for tuning in. I hope for those that actually are going to, okay, they're on in 25 minutes, Journey to Truth. Go check
There you
them
go.
out.
So we didn't screw it up. That's good.
We didn't screw it up. And And also, you can find it on my channel as well if you cannot find it. Journey to Truth, or put it in the chat, girls. And
Thanks for
so,
popping in, everybody. I just want to say thank you because everybody said thank you, and I wasn't responding because I didn't want to interrupt her. But thank you so much. I'm glad you guys came. Much love, much respect.
yes, and
And God wins. Sorry. Yeah.
God wins, and Trump too, right?
Yes,
And thank you all. And where we go, one.
we go all.
Peace out, all.
Later,
Bye.
peeps.